I started to write the Turnstiles album in late 75, early 76. I started with Say Goodbye to Hollywood. I was going to leave LA. I'd lived in LA for 3 years at that point. And I said, wait a minute. This is when New York was having great financial difficulty, and it was going to default. And I said, I'm going back. I'm going back to New York. If they're going down the tubes, I'm going down with them. Oh, there's a great recording. Another Phil Spector recording. It was that big wall of sound with the Ronnie Spector and the Ronettes.
The night we met, I knew I needed you so. And if I had the chance, I'd never let you go. So won't you say you love me? I'll make you so proud of me. Everywhere we go. So won't you please be my baby?
It's that boom, 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 bash, boom. I think it was done with the Wrecking Crew in LA. And I love that record so much. As a matter of fact, there's a great movie Martin Scorsese did, one of his early movies, called Mean Streets, where he uses that song. You can almost smell the grease, from that era. I wanted to get that feeling when I wrote Say Goodbye to Hollywood. And it starts off boom, 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 bash, boom, 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 bash.
Bobby's driving through the city tonight, through the lights in a high new rental car.
I even borrowed Ronnie's vibrato.
Joins the lovers in his heavy machine. It's a scene down on Sunset Boulevard.
I almost sound like, who's the guy from Wizard of Oz? Courage. But Ronnie Spector had a very, very big vibrato. And I just wanted to get that sound. I wanted to get the Wrecking Crew. Summer Highland Falls. The piano part goes... The left hand goes down, up, down, up, down, up, down, which is manic depression. The right hand is doing this manic thing. It's a little bit disturbing, even though it's in a major key. It's a little bit, it's percolating, and then there's this boom, da, 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 which is a little malevolent. It's really about realizing you're in a relationship and the honeymoon is over. We stand upon the ledges of our lives with our respective similarities. It's like no matter how much we have in common, we are different. And it's kind of like a sweet and sad thought at the same time. Like, I love you, but it ain't what I thought it was going to be. And we may be at the end of this. New York State of Mind, I wrote actually while I was on a Greyhound bus on my way back from a gig somewhere. I had been living in Los Angeles for 3 years, and we ended up somewhere close to the East Coast. And then I was going to a new house in upstate, up on the Hudson in Highland Falls. I rented a house, and I was really homesick for New York, and the words started coming to me on the bus and the melody. And I got to the house, and my wife at the time, I asked her, where's the piano? Where's the piano? I got to play the piano right now. She goes, it's upstairs. I ran upstairs and started playing the piano. I probably wrote this song in about 20 minutes to a half an hour. The whole thing just came out like that. I love when that happens. Just wrote New York State of Mind. Basically what I was feeling. I'm on a Greyhound on the Hudson River line. I'm in New York State of Mind. So sometimes these things just drop from heaven, into your brain. And they're usually the better songs. James was a combination of people that I know. Neither of them were named James. See, Do What's Good For You. It's a little preachy. I felt like I was being a little preachy in that song. Do what's good for you or you're not good for anybody. I saw people struggling with what their parents' expectations and society's expectations of them were and what they really wanted to do and their own goals and their own dreams. And I had followed a different path from an early age. I think since the age of 14, I was going to be a musician and nobody was going to distract me from doing that. And I stayed on that path, and that was my dream. I followed my dream the minute I recognized what that dream was. And I was seeing my friends going off to do jobs and going to school and following a path that was not theirs. They weren't trying to fit into the machine. And I knew that wasn't for them. It really wasn't where they should be going, but that's what people expected them to do. So that's what that song was about. Do what's good for you. Angry Young Man, and from the Turnstiles album, that was 1975 into 76. I had a good friend of mine who was my road manager while we were on tour. He didn't have people skills. He'd been in Vietnam and he had a tough time adjusting to civilian life. But I wanted this guy to, be on the road with us and do some business for us, like be a road manager. And he just couldn't get along with people, and it became very, very problematic. I actually had to let him go because it just wasn't working out for anybody. And when I said I can't continue to hire you because it's just not working out. A lot of people are unhappy. So he said, "Oh, so you're just like everybody else. You're like Pontius Pilate. You're washing your hands of me." And I felt bad. And then I thought about it. I said, wait a minute. If I'm Pontius Pilate, then he thinks he's Jesus Christ. And then it occurred to me, I said, okay, this is what this is. It's the angry young man. And that's what the song was about. You know where that figure came from? You know the song Wipeout? It starts with the drums, and drums go. Wipeout! We all used to practice playing the drums on Wipeout in the classroom on the desk. The teacher would come in the class, stop that! I kept it with me and I went into... I just adapted it to the piano. Piano was a percussion instrument like a drum. You don't pluck a piano, you strike a piano, you hit a piano. Just like you do a drum. So it is a percussion instrument. I've Loved These Days was written, the Turnstiles Album, 76. I was recognizing that I was at the end of a certain point in my life. I didn't know it was going to be such a quantum leap with the Stranger album. But from 76 to 77, my life felt like it was taking on a trajectory that was, pretty intense, and I wanted to say goodbye to the era I had come out of, which is I've Loved These Days. So before we end and then begin, we'll drink a toast to how it's been. A few more hours to be complete, a few more nights on satin sheets, a few more times that I can say I've loved these days. Basically what it was. I was gonna make a move somehow. Something different was gonna happen. It was fraught. At that particular time in my life, things are going to change. Not with thinking about I'm going to be a big success, but it's going to change. There's going to be a big change in my life, and that was then came the Stranger album. Well, Miami 2017 was originally recorded for the Turnstiles. That would have been late 75 into 76. I produced the song. I didn't have a producer at the time. I don't know if I did it justice in terms of the right production. I wanted to write a science fiction song. David Bowie used to do that. He would write science fiction songs. And it was just this apocalyptic vision of, well, if New York City defaults, what's going to happen? And I pictured, the military blowing the place away and then towing Manhattan out to sea to sink it, flames, fires, all kinds of destruction. But it was written to be a science fiction song. The funny thing is, I remember this was in the 70s, and I was thinking, okay, what would be a good date for me to be an old guy talking to my grandchildren like in Miami Beach. Oh, I remember when New York went down the tubes. And I'm supposed to be saying this in the year 2017, which now is not all that far away. You know, I've kind of hit the science fiction year, which is very strange to me.